Sitting around and editing a bunch of videos is clearly not what I would consider fun. Even though I'm having a good time at it, I wouldn't want to do it all day. I'd want to do that all day. Oh yeah, I miss doing that. It was a long month in between rides. I am glad to be back on the beast. Long overdue. Thought I'd get out on the bike and do my first motovlog in quite a while. So, welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy this little ride as I explain a little bit about what the past month has been like, and at the same time I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of my channel and the future of myself, actually, and the two will go hand in hand. First thing I want to say is I'm just fortunate to be able to get back on the bike. I know in my case it was a very minor injury, but nonetheless it took me off the bike, but it did give me some time to reflect on what little it takes to have an impact on our quality of life. So, and like I mentioned just a little bit, I touched on one of my first videos that at one point I wasn't sure if I was ever going to ride again when I lived in the Chicago area, and a lot of that had to do with health. Had a torn MCL, plantar fasciitis, and vertigo. So over time, eventually after I got rid of my Magna, those things kind of subsided, and that's why last year I felt like I could be able to get back on a motorcycle. Plus I was no longer in the Chicago area, so that helped quite a bit as well. There's just no place to ride. I was on the Chicago grid, so I would have had to ride for quite a while just to get out of the city and all of that mess, just to have some decent place to ride. But that's not the case here in Alabama. So I'm glad to be back on a bike, and glad to be back on one right now after taking that month off. Alright, so one of the things I want to discuss today, now that I'm back on my bike, is what's going to happen in the future. One of my plans, and one of my plans for the channel, because the two do go hand in hand. So as many of you know, because I've already alluded to it several times, that you know I'm pretty close to getting a gold wing. It'll be early next year. So I will be adding that to the channel. Nothing's going to happen to the VMAX. It's not going anywhere. If anything, this is my forever bike. And I could see potentially gold wings coming and going in the future. Particularly as technology evolves, I could see that being a bike where I would potentially want to trade that in every so often, just to keep up on all the latest gizmos and gadgets, because you know that's a good long distance 2-up bike, and all those gizmos and gadgets come in handy for bikes like that, but not the case for the VMAX. I did not buy the VMAX to go long distance or even ride 2-up, so those aren't even considerations. So this bike will always be here. There will always be videos of me on the VMAX or me doing something to the VMAX. As I learn, I will share, and you guys can learn right there with me. And at the same time offer what you've already learned about it in the comments, like so many of you do. So it's a good community discussion, works both ways. But anyway, the VMAX and the Gold Wing will be sharing the garage here in a little bit, about 6 or 7 months from now, if all goes well. But after that, believe it or not, I would actually consider a third bike, because the way I look at it, the VMAX is the ultimate short distance 1-up motorcycle. The Gold Wing is the exact opposite, the ultimate long distance 2-up motorcycle. So I could see getting something in between. So a good long distance 1-up bike, a little sportier, have a little more fun. I've alluded to that in some other videos as well. But I'll talk more about the third bike when that comes more into play 2 or 3 years down the road. But ultimately what I am going to do is within a couple of years I am going to retire. And when I do that, if I'm not already in San Antonio, Texas, I will then move to San Antonio. And this is where things are really going to get fun. Because right now, the way I look at it, work is just getting in the way of all of the things that I would rather be doing, such as riding motorcycle or playing golf, and ultimately going camping. So at some point after I retire, my plan is to get a 5th wheel toy hauler. And the toy hauler, as many of you probably know, has basically a garage in the back, and that can easily hold 1 or maybe 2 motorcycles. And I will be towing that with most likely a Ford F350 dually, because my plan is to be gone for months at a time and just travel different parts of the country and take my bike or bikes with me, and when I set up camp, go out and do day trips on the motorcycles. So I will be taking you guys along for that journey when that happens. So there's a lot that needs to happen between now and then. But clearly, as I travel the country and possibly Canada as well, I would like to visit up there a time or two, depending on which region of the US I'm at the time. Just jump across the border and see what that's all about. Same thing, I would have bikes in tow, so be able to make some day trips on the bike in Canada as well. But so there's a lot that's going to happen, most of it in about 2 years from now. And as everything kind of develops individually, I will be recording that and making videos on that along the way. But at some point, and maybe it's 2 years from now when I will have more time, because right now I clearly work full-time. This is just a weekend warrior thing that I do, making videos, and that's why I just post the 1 video a week. But I could see me at some point when I retire a couple of years from now, maybe posting twice a week. And we'll see how that goes. And I am not in this for the money. It's just for fun right now. I'm basically making nothing off of what I'm doing. I know you now see the ads, but I'm not making hardly anything at all. And I wouldn't even want to do it full-time for the money, because that would negate the purpose of me retiring in a couple years to have more time to do the things that I want. But sitting around and editing a bunch of videos is clearly not what I would consider fun. Even though I'm having a good time at it, I wouldn't want to do it all day. I'd want to do that all day.
I'd want to do that all day. I'd want to do that all day.
But not necessarily record it and then spend the rest of the day editing it. So, but I know a lot of guys do that. A lot of younger folks have channels and they do it full-time, which is great for them. But I'm at the stage of my life now where I want my free time and want to be able to enjoy things. So anyway, that's kind of the long and short of this video. Just want to let you know that everything is good to go as far as the foot. Took longer than I would have anticipated. Definitely longer than I liked. Just glad to be back out on it. And I thought I would share a little bit of my long-term plans with you. But that's all I have for this one. See you next time.